A WrestleMania is WWE's premier event, and you would logically think that every specific detail of the show is planned out in advance and there's no room for major changes. However, WWE is prone to making last-minute changes to their signature show, and this can range from match outcomes to what match is set to main event the pay-per-view. Join us as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 huge last-minute changes at a WrestleMania event. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlamia Shorts. Number 10. Stone Cold Steve Austin wins at WrestleMania 18. Stone Cold Steve Austin would collide with Scott Hall at WrestleMania 18, and WWE fans firmly expected Austin to get the win and move back into the main event scene. However, they planned for Hall to get the win. Vince McMahon was of the belief that WWE needed to re-establish Hall, and there was no better way to do this by having him defeat Austin on the grandest stage of them all. It was reported at the time that Austin wasn't pleased with the match with Hall, and he especially wasn't pleased with the idea of losing. When Hall arrived to WrestleMania 18 with a hangover, Austin had enough, and he spoke with McMahon, who agreed that the match finish should be changed and Austin should come out with the W. Number 9. Sheamus wins gold at WrestleMania 37. One of the most underrated matches of 2021 was the WrestleMania 37 match between Sheamus and Matt Riddle. The match would be for the US title, and the match was pure physicality. The original plan for the match was for Riddle to retain his US title, but a last-minute creative change resulted in Sheamus coming out with the win. According to a notable source, Fightful Select, the idea was for Riddle to win and for the storyline between the two to carry on. However, in a last-minute rewrite, Vince McMahon eventually decided to have a title change, and Sheamus would once again become US champion. Number 8. Brock Lesnar goes on first, WrestleMania 35. Fans were curious as to where Brock Lesnar's match with Seth Rollins would take place on the WrestleMania 35 match card. The match was set to be for the Universal title, and WWE had already confirmed the main event featuring Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, so fans theorized that the match would be in the semi-main event position. However, in shocking fashion, the match took place first. According to Rollins on an appearance on the Broken Skull Sessions podcast, the match was originally supposed to take place before the main event, but Lesnar wasn't happy. Lesnar believed that placing his match in that spot wasn't a smart move, and that it would hurt both his match with Rollins as well as the main event match featuring the three women. Initially, when the card came out, we were supposed to go right before them. Brock was like, no, we need to do something different. It's going to hurt both matches if they're back to back. It's going to be taking the wind out of the sails of both finishes. We need to switch this up. Let's do something we've never done. Let's go on first. It took some convincing to push Vince in that direction, but within an hour of the show, we didn't make the switch until an hour of going out. This was 100% the correct move on the part of Lesnar, as the fans love seeing Rollins capture the title in the WrestleMania opener, and an exhausted crowd 5 hours in likely wouldn't have had the same energy. Number 7. Calling an audible at WrestleMania 36. WrestleMania 36 took place in front of 0 fans during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was a bizarre WrestleMania, and it was really hard to rewatch. One match that received criticism was Edge's last man standing encounter with Randy Orton. The match went on for what seemed like a lifetime, and fans speculated that the two legends were making spots up on the fly. Well, according to Edge, due to last-minute changes, he and Orton had to call an audible and improvise virtually the entire 37-minute matchup. Edge would discuss this in depth during an episode on the After the Bell podcast, and the Hall of Famer revealed, "The time that we filmed, it didn't coordinate with the ideas we had, so we found out that on the day hours before, so we had to change everything, and that's truly what you saw was our 40-minute audible, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we, without uttering 2 words to each other, were able to do that. I will always be able to look back and again thrive on challenges, and I love challenges and talk about a massive challenge, so can we do this? Can we pull that off?" They certainly did. Number 6. The winner of the inaugural Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30. At WrestleMania 30, WWE launched the annual tradition that is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The match mainly exists to get as many people as possible onto the WrestleMania match card, which is certainly appreciated. WWE originally planned for the Big Show to be the inaugural winner of the match, but this was changed last minute in favor of Cesaro. Luckily for the Big Show, he would be awarded with the Battle Royal victory the following year, making him the second winner of the annual matchup. Number 5. Brock Lesnar retains WrestleMania 34. The main event collision between Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34 was heavily panned by fans. The Universal title match was met with negative chants as fans simply didn't want to see the two wrestlers perform in the main event slot of the show. The original plan for the match was to see Reigns walk out as the new Universal Champion. However, Vince McMahon became reluctant to crown Reigns after he wasn't convinced the crowd wanted him as champion. McMahon therefore decided that Lesnar should retain. This was a dreadful decision that fans rejected. Even Lesnar knew it was completely the wrong decision, as he would infamously throw his Universal title at McMahon backstage following the match. Number 4. The new main event, Wrestlemania 19. When The Rock vs Austin was announced for Wrestlemania 19, it seemed like a certainty that it would main event the show. These two icons of WWE were bigger than any world title, and it was without question the biggest match on the show. However, due to Austin being in hospital the night before the show due to a serious health scare, WWE weren't convinced that Austin and Rock could meet the high expectation that fans had, so they ultimately decided to have Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle take the main event position. Number 3. Hulk Hogan strikes at Wrestlemania 9. Hulk Hogan made a career out of politicking his way to the top, and Wrestlemania 9 was no exception. When Hogan discovered that the original plan was for Bret Hart to drop the title to Yokozuna, Hogan went directly to Vince McMahon to influence the creative. Hogan convinced McMahon that he should come down after the match and challenge Yoko to an impromptu match. Hogan went one step further by outright stating that he should win the title to send the fans home happy. According to Hart, the locker room was stunned and disappointed by Hogan's actions, and Hogan winning the title was a WrestleMania ending that never should have happened. Number 2. Seth Rollins cashes in at WrestleMania 31. Whereas WrestleMania 9 went off the air with fans being disappointed, WWE managed to book one of the most exciting and compelling WrestleMania endings of all time at WrestleMania 31. WWE booked Seth Rollins to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase during the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar main event to become the world champion. This was a thrilling moment that closed out one of the best WrestleMania events of the modern era. But this wasn't always planned, as originally Vince McMahon was set on crowning Roman Reigns as a new face of the company. Numerous sources conflict as to when McMahon decided to go with Rollins, as some say it was the weekend of the show, and some go so far as saying it was a few hours before the show had gone on the air. What is confirmed by former WWE writers as well as Rollins is that Rollins himself found out that he would be cashing in whilst WrestleMania 31 was live on the air. And number 1, the streak ends, WrestleMania 30. Now, upon the announcement that Brock Lesnar would take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30, it seemed like Taker was going to once again successfully defend his streak. However, when Lesnar pinned the dead man's shoulders to the mat at WrestleMania itself, fans were left speechless. This wasn't the initial plan, as it was believed by everyone that Taker would get the win, but it was Vince McMahon who decided that now was the time to end the streak. According to Dave Meltzer, McMahon decided on the day of the show to allow Lesnar to end the streak. Fans still debate whether or not this was the correct move, but WWE's strong presentation of Lesnar since WrestleMania 30 has signaled that it was perhaps the right move from a business perspective. But there you have it, folks, 10 huge last minute changes to a WrestleMania event. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.